There's much more morning dose ahead, and coming up, a new app that allows people to anonymously criticize you, why parents should be concerned, and why Willie Nelson might not be on the road again for a while. Morning Dose rolls on right now.
Now, back to Morning Dose.
And good Monday morning. I'm Layla Muhammad.
And I'm Krista Gutierrez. Gary is off this morning, enjoying an extended weekend. And this is Morning Dose, the show that sets you up for a day of great conversation.
Yeah, make sure you start your day with us, and we'll provide you with everything you need to carry that discussion through the rest of your day. Gary gets an extended weekend. Why?
I know. I think he wanted to enjoy that nice weather over in Boston.
Oh.
Yeah, he's enjoying a trip there.
Yeah, I can't complain, though. I have my own extended weekend. So. Yeah, now, I'm back from New Orleans.
My turn now.
Yeah, okay. Let me know where you want to go. I'll go with you. I have some vacation days to burn.
I love it. Let's plan it.
We'll plan a trip together. Right now, let's go ahead and jump into what we call Fixated. Today's story that we have an absolute fixation about, and this morning's Fixated comes to us from dose.com.
Yeah, parents, you're going to want to check your teen's phone for a new app that is quickly gaining popularity. In fact, Shane just told me that it's, according to Forbes, it's like the most downloaded app right now. So there's a lot of concerns, though, that it could be opening up your child for extreme bullying. The app is called Saraha, which roughly translates to honesty in Arabic. Here's how it works. You sign up, you get your own personal webpage, and people can then anonymously write messages to you. Millions of people are using it, including teens as young as 13 years old. They post screenshots of those messages that they get on their social media pages. Now, Saraha was initially created for employees to give constructive feedback to their employers. It even opens up, the app opens up with a message saying, leave a constructive message, but as you can imagine, it is now becoming a place for trolls. And navigating things like this on the internet is obviously very tough for parents. So do you let your teen use an app like this? How much can you really protect them from online bullies? And what are you supposed to do? So joining us now is Carrington Cunnington. She's a mother of 10-year-old triplets, so you have a lot of experience with this, I'm sure. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. First, I want to know, what are your thoughts when you first heard about this new app, and what kind of conversations did you have with your daughters?
You know, when I first heard about the app, there was a part of me that thought, here's the newest one. It wasn't a surprise. I think there's a new app coming out every month or every couple months that kind of gets everyone in a fervor. But I don't think it presents any new challenges that we haven't already seen in cyberspace already.
How do those conversations sound at your home? What do you talk about with your children?
You know, it's really interesting. So my kids are 10. They do not use social media. They don't have their own cell phones or their own iPads at this point. But we do talk quite a bit already about what social media is, how it's used, and how we can be wise in the way that we use it. But at this point, my kids already know they're not old enough for it. We've just told them it's not appropriate for them at this point, since they're 10 years old. And you know, I've kind of left it at that for now, and they've accepted that. They don't have a real digitized world that they're living in just yet.
So what would you do if one of your children were to come to you and say that they had been bullied? What would be your response to that?
First, my response would be to really listen. You know, I think what we really need to focus on as parents is relationships with our children. And so I would hear them. I would say, how does this make you feel? What's going on? What are the circumstances? I try to get to know the context of it. You know, are there adults around that you can go to for help, or just get a feel for what's really happening? You know, one thing I have noticed with my kids, they will use the word bullying when they're not really being bullied. I think because bullying is so talked about today, that I want to really help them understand what bullying is. What's the difference between bullying and someone who just said something that didn't sit well with you or that didn't feel very good at the moment? So that's where I would start with it.
Right. And of course, as parents, we can tend to see our children with rose-colored glasses. But what do you do if you find out your child is the one who's saying not nice things?
That's a tough one, right? You're right. None of us want to think that our kid would be the one to do that. I think the first thing is to acknowledge that look, parenting is hard, and we don't have complete control of how our kids act. children are going through the process of learning how to interact with people, learning how to be in the world in a productive way. And so if we can get ourselves to take off those rose-colored glasses, I think that's a great place to start. But I would say anything that happens online is a reflection of the values that we're already building in our home. So if you think your kid is the perpetrator or hear that your child is a perpetrator, I think it's time, number one, to take away the social media for now, and really start having a continuing family dialogue about how do we treat people, what matters to us in our family, and how can we live out the values that matter to us in a productive way.
All right, Carrington, thanks so much for your time this morning. We sure do appreciate it. Let's go ahead and check in with the Hive now to see what's buzzing on social media about this topic.
Yeah, this is the Hive where Shane and Joseph are busy checking out everything online, what's trending, what you're telling us this morning on the show, all that good stuff on our Facebook page. And you certainly had some very strong opinions about this topic right here in this whole app. Colette said people are cruel enough when hiding behind a computer screen. Don't give them anonymity too. Susan says just what we need, another platform for people to behave like jerks and tear people down so they can feel better about themselves. And JC says whatever happened to if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. I'm 27 and still live by that. We still want to hear from you this morning. What do you think of an app that lets users send anonymous messages? Let us know right now on the Facebook page. That's facebook.com/morningdosetv. Yeah, I think we don't need this, obviously. You know, you hear enough bad stuff.
Absolutely. And, you know, my kids are still young, so we're not quite there yet to that social media stage. But, you know, again, I say it again and again, I'm very hesitant to jump on board the social media train or even the smartphone train because of all of these things. I think kids just aren't emotionally prepared to handle these types of things online. So that's just my personal opinion. But, again, I'm not to that teenage stage yet, so we'll see how it goes. But thanks so much, Layla. Okay, it is time now to get you up to date on the latest headlines. Before you head out the door, Courtney D. Huff here with today's Essentials.
Thank you. Well, Oakland Raider Marshawn Lynch is making headlines, but not for anything he actually did on the field. Instead, it's for his actions on the sidelines. The running back sat for the national anthem prior to his team's preseason game against the Arizona Cardinals. Mark J. Rabila snapped this photo of Lynch sitting on a cooler. But he wasn't the only footballer to sit. Lynch's former teammate Michael Bennett sat on the bench with a towel over his head during the national anthem on Sunday. The Seattle Seahawks defensive end says he'll continue to sit and hopes his stance will cause others to go out and get involved in changing their community. And the Trump administration will kick off an attempt to renegotiate the NAFTA agreement on Wednesday, a trade agreement the president has continuously bashed. Now, new U.S. negotiators, they will sit down with officials from Canada and Mexico in Washington, but they're facing a tight deadline because Mexico wants a deal by the end of the year. NAFTA took years to negotiate, of course, and experts say that cutting a new agreement in 5 months is wishful thinking. And country legend Willie Nelson had to cut his concert short last night because of breathing problems. The 84-year-old singer was performing in Salt Lake City, Utah when he left the stage. He was taken to the hospital just as a precaution. Nelson took to Twitter to address his fans, and he says, "This is Willie. I'm sorry to have to cut the show short tonight. The altitude got me, and I'm feeling better now."